Okay, good morning from Montana.
Good morning.
Hello.
Shauna, do you want to go ahead and introduce Dustin, our celebrity guest today?
Sorry, Jennifer, I thought you were doing introductions. I'm Shanna Huber, and I'm here with co-author Jennifer Crowley, co-authors of the Life Care Management Handbook, which is a handbook for care managers or people that want to start a care management practice. And we're here with one of our guest contributors, Dustin Wright. And we're so excited to have Dustin here with us. And Dustin is the founder of Disability Cocoon, where Dustin helps make disability technology easy for everyone through education, resources, and training so that anyone can enable possibilities. He helps professionals, families, and advocates with disabilities find creative uses of technologies that promote independence. Dustin has worked as a direct support professional, as a director at a large disability service provider agency, and one of the founders of a nationally known remote support provider. He's a serial entrepreneur working on several other projects, all which involve the utilization of enabling technology for people with disabilities. So welcome, Dustin.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And Dustin wrote a whole chapter in the book about technology just because it's so much part of our lives today. And I just wanted to ask you, Dustin, if you could share a little bit about your business and what you and what made you decide to start your business.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm excited to see the book come out, by the way. Congratulations to all of you. As you were kind of doing my introduction there, I've been involved in disability services my entire life, and all of the vast majority of the professional part of my career has been involved in implementing technologies to improve people's lives and empower them. In doing that, I realized that in the disability community and in the systems that we operate, meaning Medicaid, Medicare, waiver programs, etc., insurance, there was nobody out there that was really trying to pull all of the amazing technologies that are being created today together as a resource so that people can go out and find out what's out there and create some opportunities for the people that they're serving, as well as kind of a catalyst for change. In our country, we have very specific definitions on what is support and regulations that define how we can and cannot provide support to somebody with a disability. And unfortunately, those regulations were written, years ago, before a lot of the technologies that we have today were available. And we just kind of wanted to act as a catalyst for change, both regulatory as well as culturally, to kind of push this tech agenda forward. Just so, we've seen so many amazing things happen with tech and in people's lives. We just wanted to be a part of making it become more mainstream, I guess.
Great, thank you. And when I think of technology, I think of so many different applications, from helping the care managers run their business to improving the lives of those who serve. So what are some examples of technology available today?
Wow. How long do we have again? I'm just kidding. So there's tech out there that is available to serve various different aspects of a person's life, from health and safety to prompting and coaching through activities of daily living, making things in the home and in the community more accessible, to ensuring medications are taken appropriately, to address loneliness and social isolation as an alternative to traditional caregivers. I mean, the use cases there and are so many that it's very difficult to describe it real quickly. But there's a tech out there that I think is going to allow us to really empower people, give them a greater sense of independence, give professionals that are involved in managing services for people more data and insights that we have never had. And that data and insight will hopefully allow us to provide better care to the people that we're serving. I think that technology will allow us to gain some efficiencies in care. If we were a manufacturing company, that's, number one priority is efficiency and safety, right? It's fortunately, when we're talking about care and support to people with disabilities or people that are aging, we don't always look at how can we as a business or as a service delivery system be more efficient. And I believe that technology will allow us to do that. It's also going to be an extremely powerful tool in addressing the upcoming, the workforce shortage that is already here for those kind of frontline caregivers, the people that are actually providing the care to these individuals. And it's only going to get worse as our country ages. I think the data that I was looking at is right now there are 7 working adults to every person that needs some form of in-home support or support. By the year 2030, that's going to be 3 working adults to everyone. So we are going to have to figure out a way to use technology to use those scarce human resources more efficiently.
Oh, thanks, Dustin, for that. I think of all the technology I've already used with clients, and it's just not even skimming the surface of what's out there and available. And then I too would struggle with some of the new applications and how to apply that to a client that I'm assisting. Yeah. So, when you think about barriers and challenges, you've already mentioned a few of them. But when you think of barriers and challenges, not only for the care manager to find or use the technology, but also the client, what are some of those examples of some of those challenges that you see, not only on the consumer side, but also on the professional side?
Yeah. So that is actually what we are trying to address at Disability Cocoon. And many of those things are, one, change is hard. It's just hard for almost every human. If it's not hard for you, you're a special person. None of us really like change. And what we're talking about is a change in how support is provided. So that does require some sort of a cultural shift. And I think we're starting to see that already occurring, but we're at the very beginning phases of that in the US. I also think that the professionals that are providing services right now, we're social workers, right? For the most part, are not IT professionals. And I think that gap there makes them feel that they don't have the tech competence to do this, which is totally incorrect. When tech is done the right way, we're really focused on the person's needs, not focused on the features and functionality of I shouldn't say functionality, but on how to set up the technology. So I think people need to get over that feeling of tech ignorance. I think that people also don't know how do I go out and assess this person, and if I'm sitting here looking at this person, or this person has this need, how do I match that tech up? How do I go find technology that would be appropriate for that? How do I pay for it is another barrier, right? Is this funded through their an insurance policy that they had, through Medicaid, through Medicare, through the waiver programs, other funding sources that are out there? Will they pay for it? That's also another big question. People just don't know what's out there. Tech changes so fast these days that it's impossible to keep up on everything that's out there. And I think that people are also just kind of, as social workers and as human beings that are in that field, we all are very compassionate and we're very risk averse, which is good because we're keeping people safe and healthy and happy. But I think that we need to kind of start looking at weighing the value of independence and autonomy with dignity of risk, with the actual risk that we would be putting somebody in. And by no means suggesting that we put somebody at risk, that we need to kind of just redefine how we define supports, and giving people some tools for implementation strategies as well would be as another, I think, a barrier. So if we figured out how to pay for it, now how do we actually go set this thing up? Who's going to do that? Who's going to be making sure that it continues to work for that person. So there are all those kinds of factors come together. And I think people get overwhelmed and they're like, you know what, we're just going to go with traditional supports versus trying to incorporate tech.
And there, like you said, Dustin, there's so much out there. So how do professionals, well, how do you, first of all, let's not talk about you. How do you stay on top of all the new devices and applications that come available all the time? And how do you stay on top of all of that?
You know, it is very hard because it is it's a jungle of information. And, you know, the days that we're in right now, how do we know what's real and not real, right? So, you know, what I would recommend is finding a valid news source like CNET or other tech type companies like that. Subscribe to their newsletters. You know, not everything that they're going to send you is going to be something that is 100%, you know, in tune with what you need to be seeing, but there's going to be some really great information in there. The other place that I go are Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, your social media of choice. Is full of information. You know, you can subscribe to and set your preferences to start to get some of this stuff. And as you like and interact with that social media, it's obviously going to get smarter about you and start to send you more of the stuff that you're liking. That's a great way to discover things. Conferences, highly recommend the Consumer Electronics Show out in Vegas. Well, conferences once we can actually go to conferences again. And, you know, the other thing is to find a local resource in your state that knows about tech or in your region. You know, every state has what they call an Assistive Technology Act program that is federally mandated, that every state have one. They should be your go-to local state resource. They have lending libraries. They can talk to you about what's available, do loans of devices, or you can come find an organization like Disability Cocoon that tries to pull all of that stuff together for you into one place that's easily digestible and you know, kind of tailored to our industry.
Yeah, with care managers, most of them are business owners, and I know
Yeah.
time is a major constraint of doing a lot of that stuff. So I think having a company like yours that they can go to that are, you know, you've already sifted through stuff, you already know something that's not brand new or is going to fail, and you're already, you know, vetting those places and pulling it all in one place would be really time helpful for the care manager who has limited time. Is there any advice you would give for care managers interested in implementing more technology in their practice or as an additional service to their clients?
Yes, I would start with some form of education. And unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot of formal stuff out there right now around this. So start, you know, doing the things that we talked about for going to Discover, and maybe do some internal education within your organizations. You know, that's something that if you can find somebody that is knowledgeable about this, that could help you with that, but start with education. And also start to talk about it internally within your organization. You know, how do we want to approach this? How will this affect our business? How will it improve our business? Will it be a differentiator? And then, you know, once you kind of have a sense on what you want to do as an organization, start small. Start with a couple of devices here or there. You know, something simple, an app. Installing an app on a person's iPad that helps them, you know, helps prompt them through activities of daily living on a schedule that you've set up with them. Start something small like that, and then get more sophisticated, building or utilizing assessment tools that have also already been created, refining policies within your organization to discuss how you use tech, how you, what your philosophies on that are, what the barriers are, and then just, you know, again, find another resource and partners within your community or nationally that can assist you with these kinds of things.
Those are great recommendations. I love the being an expert in the field is so important. And once you start educating others, I think that's a good marketing piece, as well as people start coming to you then for advice and knowing what technologies in place and can implement that and, you know, be that resource. I think care managers are just going to see their practices grow. It's just an added service that they can provide to their community and be of help to their clients.
Absolutely.
And go ahead, were you going to say something else?
Yeah, I was just gonna say one last thing. If you are looking for tech, I would really recommend AT Visor. It's atvisor.ai. They have a search tool where you can search by desired outcomes of the person that's going to be using the technology. It's absolutely amazing.
All right, thanks. We'll put a link to that in the post. And thank you so much for taking time with us, Dustin. I know you have to go, but we look forward to helping so many. And thank you for your contribution to the Life Care Management Handbook. And I'd like you just wrap up with how people can get in touch with you and learn more about Disability Cocoon and get connected so that they can be knowledgeable also about the new technology out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Our website is Disability Cocoon, and Cocoon is COCOON.com. Or you can just email me at dustin@disabilitycocoon.com.
All right, we'll put a link to your website as well. Thanks for spelling cocoon. I know.
Yeah, it's not a very common word.
Love it. Thanks so much for your contribution, Dustin. It was great to visit with you. Again, I just feel like I could visit with you for a lot longer and share some experiences that I've had with using technology. Montana being a frontier state, a lot of rural population, it makes my situation probably a little more unique than someone in the higher metropolitan, the higher population areas. So, and it's basically me probably stereotyping Montana as not being sufficient enough to adopt technology. I think it's really not about that. It's really about what you're comfortable with and having, like you said, the resources to help. Looking forward to people reaching out to you and learning how they can kind of overcome the challenges that we talked about. So thanks so much.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you guys. Congratulations again on the book.
Thank you.